Rabbi Loza Omar. The question is, we have an argument. If you had, you have a leap year. So when do you read the Megillah? The first Adar or the second? We rule like Rav Shimon Gamliel, the second Adar. Even though it says B'chol Shana V'Shana, every year, when do you normally read it? You read it the Adar which follows Shvat. So if it's always the Adar which follows Shvat, it should be the first Adar, not the second Adar. So Mara says one interpretation is because there's no, and we have a principle, Ein Mavir Ala Mitzvos, that if you have an opportunity to do a mitzvah, you don't pass on the first time to delay it. So if that's the case, we should definitely do it the first Shvat, not the second Shvat. So Mara says because Mismar Gula Gula, since Nisan is Gula and Purim is Gula, so that's no overriding factor. So since the second Shvat is close to Nisan, so we associate Gula with Gula. The second answer is Rabbi Loza Omar time to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Meocham, because it says in the Megillah, L'kayim Igeres HaPurim Hazos HaShenis. You should fill the letter of Purim Shenis. So the way we interpret Shenis means the second month, meaning if you have 2 months, which month should you read it? HaShenis. Esther and Mordechai wrote in the Megillah, it should be observed and read during the second month, not the first month. Okay, now we're going. So we have 2 psukim. It says you should do every year, year in and year out. You should read it every year, the way it's read normally. Then it says the second. It says shenis. What do we need both psukim? If shenis already tells me it's the second month, what does that have to say b'chol shana v'shana? Di b'chol shana v'shana. If it would only be b'chol shana v'shana amino kikushan, we have the question. Maybe it's the first Adar, because always when is Adar, it always follows Shvat, correct? And we have an issue of what? Ein Mavrin Ala Mitzvahs. Kumash Balon HaShenis. So it tells me no Shenis. Despite that, it should be the second Adar. So if we have Shenis, what do we need? Chol Shana V'Shana. V'yashmin HaShenis Havmina B'tchila V'Rishin U'B'Shenim. Maybe you should read it what? Maybe the first month and the second month. Kumash Balon Chol Shana V'Shana. Just as every year you only read it once, you don't read it twice. Here also, when you have 2 Adars, you read it once and not twice. And which Adar? Adar Sheni. Now we have a question. Rabbi Yossi says you read it in the first month, right? Whenever you have a leap year. Rabbi Yossi. So now what does he do with Hashenis, right? If Hashenis is referring to the second month, so he evidently he interprets it differently. So what does he do with Hashenis? Rabbi Yossi, Hi Hashenis Ma'ovad Lei. He uses it for Reb Shmuel Yehuda. Dam Reb Shmuel Yehuda. Betchila, very interesting. Betchila kavua b'Shushan. Initially, when they wrote the Megillah, they legislated you only have a chiyuv to read it only in Shushan, because that's where the miracle took place. But ultimately, b'chol olam kulo. He said, no, every Jewish community, wherever you may be, if you're an open city, it's on the 14th, and if it's a closed walled city, it's on the 15th. So that's the shenis. There was the first year, and there was second initially. Omer Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda, Shochlem Esther l'Chachomim. Esther sent a message to the Chachomim. Kavuni l'doros. I want you to legislate it that for all generations you have to read the Megillah. Kavuni l'doros. Shochle kina at mo'eres only the beina umos. But you realize, what are we going to do if we read it l'doros and we don't keep it quiet? We're inciting the goyim. You see, we're gloating over their destruction. So it's politically, it's a issue. That's what the Chum told Esther. So she sent back to Kfar Kosuani al Divrei Hayom Malchi Modei Poras. He says, I already recorded in the chronicles of Modei and Poras. It's already public knowledge. It's already part of world history. So therefore, by we reading it, it's not going to make it more public than it is. So Rashi says something interesting. Kinat Moreres, Shiomro Umos Onu Smechen Lahasker Mapaloson. Hear what the Goyim are going to say. We're rejoicing to talk about their downfall. That's what the Goyim. That's how we're inciting them. What do you mean? They're Persians. No. When it comes to a Jew beating a Goy, it's like you beat him. You got it? That's anti-Semitism. We find by Yisro, it says, when Moshe shared with him how Hashem destroyed Egypt, it says, Vayichad Besoro, Vayichad Yisro. Yichad. Yichad means chedva. He rejoiced. So what does it say? Sefer Yismach. So Rashi says because when a goy, even though he converted, when a goy hears the downfall of another goy as a result of a Jew, he's pained by it. It says Nasib Sir Chadum Chadum. He had goose pimples. It's like he was like pained by it, because that's the reality. Same thing. If we read it, Jews are rejoicing about our downfall. What does that have to do with downfall? These are Persians. That means they're your enemies. When a Jew goes and destroys a goy, there's no such thing as their enemies. We're all brothers. Okay? Gewaldig. Rav Chanina, Reb Yochanan, and Reb Chaviva. Here we have this group here. Rav Chanina, Reb Yochanan, Reb Chaviva, Mosnu, Bekule, Seder Moed, Koki Aizuga, Chilufe, Reb Yochanan, Ma'il Reb Yonason. Whenever you find this pair, this grouping mentioned in Seder Moed, you should exchange, instead of Reb Yochanan, because one of the people is Reb Yochanan, you exchange Reb Yochanan for Reb Yonason. Right? Because it could be, right, the difference is just a ches. Is it a tov or is it a ches? Sholchem, what did they send? They said, Sholchol lehem Esther lechachomim kesvul ledoros. I would like to be recorded that Klal Yisrael should read Megillah Esther every Yom Purim. Right? Record me for all generations. It's interesting. Before, if you point out, they said, but you're going to be inciting the goyim. So he says, no, it's already been recorded Divrei Yomim for the kings of Modeh and Paras. Who recorded it? Whose decision was it? She says, Ani, ksuva ani. So kvar ksuva ani al divrei. I am already written there. So what does I mean? Does it mean because it's called Megillah Esther, and therefore it means the event, or ksuva ani means I wrote it there. So I doesn't mean I. Ksuva ani means the story. My story is already written. It was not a decision, because that doesn't make any sense. Here you were asking a question. So you what? Instead, you should have asked, how do you record it? How do you, if in fact there's a chance that you may be inciting the goyim, how did you record it? Maybe you shouldn't have recorded it. No, I'm already recorded there. Ksuvanik, my story is already recorded there. Therefore, it's not going to add any more fuel to the fire. So what did they say? Shochalem Esther, Kisvun Ledoros, Shochalei. Halo kosafti loch shileshim. So there's a pasuk. There's a pasuk in Mishlei. Halo kosafti loch shileshim b'moatzis vodas. I wrote for you something which were repeated 3 times with insight and discretion. This is referring to, we have Schiris Mechias Amalek. How often do we read it? We have it twice in the Torah. We have in parshas Beshalach, parshas Kiseitze. Amalek came to us, right? And we have story in Navi, Shaul went to battle with the Amalekites. So 3 times it's mentioned in Torah and Nevi'im. If they record it now, this is the 4th time, correct? So they said to Esther, but Shlomo Melech says that what? I've written it Shlishim. 3 times. So 3, the inference of 3 means not 4. So Shlomo Melech is indicating you're not supposed to record it. Schiris Mechias Amalek is only 3 and not 4. But if we read Megillah Esther, that means 4. Halo kosafti loch shlishim v'lo revoim. 3 times, not 4 times. Until they found a source in the pasuk, kosba Torah pasuk, that means that it should be written. It should be read even a 4th time. Why? Because it says in Torah, ksovs. It says by Mechias Amalek in Parshas Beshalach, ksov zos zikoram b'sefer. Okay? This is in Shmos. Ksov, Zos, Zikorim. This should be recorded in the book. Now, which book? So what does that mean? Ksov, Zos, Mashakosov Kan. You should record in that sefer what's written here. What's written here? What's written here, B'Shalch u'B'Mishnah Torah. Zikoron, Mashkos bin Nevi'im, B'Sefer in the sefer. So, meaning here, you should record what's written here, meaning in Beshalach and Kiseitze, right? Zikaron, what's written in Nevi'im, in the Sefer. Which Sefer? Sefer Megillah Esther. Okay? Mashkos bin Nevi'im, B'Sefer Mashkos bin Megillah. Gewaldig. Ketanoi. This itself is a machlokes Tanoim. Ksov zos Mashkos of Kan, Zikor Mashkos Mishnah Torah, B'Sefer Mashkos bin Nevi'im, Div Rabbi Shua. Rabbi Shua says no. that on a Torah level, Esther was not meant to be recorded on a Torah level. There's no allusion in Torah that should be recorded. Rabbi Elazar Badoram no kso zos mashkoso kan mishn Torah zikor mashkos bin neviim save mashkos Megillah. No, Rabbi Elazar holds no. Rabbi Elazar Modoi says no. The pasuk is alluding that you should record Megillah Esther, the story of Esther. Omre Vidom Shmuel Esther ein betami yisayim. Now the Gemara says in Shabbos, they used to store the truma. Truma is holy. They used to put it in the Aron Kodesh. So what happened? What do you have in the Aron Kodesh? You have a Sefer Torah. You have Nevi'im, you have Ksuvim, you have the prophets, the on scrolls. So what happened? The rodents would go there, and when they ate the truma, the food, they would gnaw on the parchments. So they would destroy everything. So they said, the Chacham said, so how do you get people not to keep their truma in the Aron Kodesh? So you know something? Anything that comes in contact with the parchment becomes contaminated. So that's what they said. So if that truma becomes contaminated, you can't eat it any longer. So as a result of that, the Kohanim wouldn't keep that truma in the Aron Kodesh. So that was a way to get them not to keep the truma there. So it's metabi yodayim. You touch it, you have to wash your hands. It's tummy. So Amr Yudam Shmuel Esther ain't metabi yodayim. Esther, although all other Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, Esther as a Megillah, that scroll, if you touch it, it's not metabi yodayim. It doesn't contaminate. Rabbinic. We're talking about rabbinic contamination. The Memra. So evidently, if Shmuel is telling, Rabbi Yehuda is saying name Shmuel that it doesn't get Savar, Shmuel es la brucha kodesh now, because if in fact it has sanctity, like other ksuvim, like scripture, so why it doesn't contaminate? It should contaminate. So evidently he's of the opinion, Shmuel, that Esther was not written, it wasn't divinely inspired. When she recorded the story, there wasn't any divine inspiration there. So Mar says, what are you talking about? Shmuel, Esther brucha kodesh nemro. How do we reconcile both things? Shmuel says that Esther is not metami sudam, doesn't contaminate. Shmuel says Esther was written with Ruach HaKodesh. On that, the Gemara answers Nemra Likros, meaning the words were communicated to her that it should be read, but it should be recorded on parchment. That it was never. That's rabbinical. Nemra Likros, below Nemra Likosef, but to be written not. So comes that interesting. Normally we have halacha that anything which is part of which is meant to be, which is supposed to be written, you're not permitted to quote from memory. For instance, a person, there's no Sefer Torah, the Balkori knows the Kriya by heart. Can't read it from memory. It has to be read from the or Balkori, he picks his eyes up off the Sefer Torah, he doesn't read every part of the Kriya. From there, it's not valid. Because there's halacha, something which is part of the written text, you're not permitted to read from memory. Esther, same thing with Ksuvim. Scripture, Navi, same thing. But that was saying Esther was Ruach HaKodesh. But Ruach HaKodesh only to be read, but not to be written. So it comes out text, that it's textual. That was never said from that's not Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh is only likros velo likosev. Therefore, that it's on a parchment has nothing to do with the halacha, with the Torah halacha. That's rabbinical. Meisvei. We learned in the Brayse, Remeiro Mekoheles Ein B'Tamas Yadayim. Yeah, this he holds Koheles. Koheles was written by Shlomo Melech. Doesn't contaminate. So evidently, what does he hold? Evidently, also wasn't written with Ruach HaKodesh. It's good musar, it's good advice. Koheles Hevel Avolam Akol Hovel. Everything is vain. Umachloks B'Shir Hashirim. Remeir says that what Koheles definitely does not, but Shir Hashirim, which is over, it's not simple. Machloks b'shir hashirim. That it does contaminate. Rabbi Yossi no. Shir hashirim b'tamis yadayim. Definitely shir hashirim definitely contaminates. There's no machlokes. Or machlokes koheles. But koheles not so simple. Rabbi Shimon koheles mikule beishamai, michurim beisilo. Rabbi Shimon says koheles is mikule beishamai is lenient, that it's not metame, doesn't contaminate. Michurim beisilo. Beisilo says it is. Avo Rus v'Shir Hashirim ve'Esther, but Megillas Rus, Shir Hashirim and Megillas Esther, b'tamis yadayim. It definitely is. This is what Reb Shimon says. So verse says, "Who don't Rabbi Yeshua? He was like Rabbi Yeshua." Rabbi Yeshua said earlier that was machlokes Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Lozer, Ben Hamodoi. Rabbi Yeshua says Esther's b'tamis yadayim. That Esther has a regular halach of scripture, so just as all other scripture, if you touch it, it contaminates rabbinically. This also contaminates. He holds like Rabbi Tanya. Okay. We learned the brayso Reb Shimon Menashe Omer Koheles Ein B'Tamas Yadayim. Why? Why does Reb Shimon Menashe say Koheles doesn't contaminate the hands? That's an expression of Shlomo's personal wisdom. That's his genius. Koheles is his genius. It has nothing to do with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I write a Musa Sefer, you can tell me it's Matama Yadayim. What does it do with God? I'm giving you Musa. Omer lo v'chizu b'levad. So they said, you mean only Koheles is his genius, is his chokhmah, his wisdom? V'lokvar omru v'yidaber shloshis alof moshel mishlei. There are 3,000 proverbs in Mishlei. He spoke 3,000. V'omer al tosav al dvorov. Mai v'omer v'chite me'matuva. Maybe he said many more. Omar v'chite me'matuva omar di boy ichtav vadai. Excuse me. Di boy b'ichtav udi boy lo ichtav. Maybe he said others, but it's up to you whether you want to record it or not. Toshma Tosiv al Dvorov. Second, Medkos lahosif Shma Mino Bruch Kodesh Nemro. Hear this. He said much wisdom. He had many more. Maybe now if it's his wisdom, if you want to record it. You know, you want to be smart, record. You don't want to record, don't record it. So if that's the posel, what to say al Tosif? But don't add. You know what don't add means? When you record, you only record this, not others. Meaning this has the status of ksuvim. That's scripture. Whatever you write after, that's not, because that's his own wisdom. Mishlei is what? Is Ruach HaKodesh. Koheles is Ruach HaKodesh. Al Tosif, but he says other good advice. That's not Ruach HaKodesh. Therefore, that's your prerogative if you want to record it. But it doesn't have to be recorded. Tanya. Reb Lezer Esther Beruch HaKodesh Nemra. Very interesting. Reb Lezer says, I'll prove to you Esther was written through divine inspiration. Was there certain facts in Esther, it's impossible that she knew it unless God informed her. Why? Shenemar, V'yoma Haman believe. What happened when Haman came the night to seal the fate of Mordechai? Right? It was the night he couldn't sleep. So he asked for his chronicles. And so what did Achashverosh say to Haman? What would you give to the man who the king wants to honor? So who do you think? He thought he was talking about him. So it says, Vayoma Haman believe. Haman said in his mind. This is what Esther writes. How does Esther know what's going on in his mind and his heart? Evidently, Hashem informed her. So Reb Lezer says, this proves that Esther was written Ruach HaKodesh. Reb Kiva me Esther Ruach HaKodesh. Reb Kiva also says, Esther was written with divinely inspired. Why? Shenemar, v'ati Esther nosis chen b'nei kol ro'eh. It says, Esther, whoever found favor, and whoever saw her. How did she know? This was written in the Megillah. Hashem informed her. So it's clear it's Ruach HaKodesh. Remeir also. Omer Esther Ruach HaKodesh Nemro. Shenemar v'yivoda hadover leMordechai. It became known to Mordechai about the fate of the Jews that sealed. How did it become known to him? Evidently, it was Ruach HaKodesh. Rabbi Yossi ben Damascus, Esther Ruach HaKodesh Nemro. They all concur. Shenemar ubebizul shochl yom. When they destroyed Amalek, it says no Jew took from the spoils. How do you know? By Yericho, there was a Jew took from the spoils. How do you know no Jew? Maybe somebody did take from the spoils. So how did they write no Jew? Evidently, it's something that Hashem informed them to this fact. Omar Shmuel. So Shmuel says, if I would have been there during this discussion, whether it was said Ruach HaKodesh, I bring him even a better proof. I bring a better proof than all of them. Why? Shenemar, Kimu v'kiblu. It says in Megillah says the Kimu v'kiblu. They fulfilled and they accepted. What does this mean? Kimu l'malam ashkiblu l'mato. They accepted above what they accepted. What it was a couple. They reconfirmed their acceptance of the Torah. That means they knew what was going on in Shemaim. How did they know what they did in heaven? Kimu l'malam ashkimu l'mato ashkiblu l'mato. Right. Omar Rava, so Rava says, L'kulis l'pircha. Every one of the proofs that every one of the Talmud brought, you're able to refute. It's not a conclusive proof. It could be refuted. Lebar mishmuel, the less l'pircha. Shmuel, it's a conclusive proof. It's irrefutable. Why? He goes to it. The Reb Lezer Svarahu, Laviinish dechosh l'malka avasa. We're talking about a man who's pompous, self-absorbed. So, Haman, when what would you do for the man who the king wants to honor? Of course, we know we're talking what kind of personality we're talking. Of course, he thought he was thinking about himself. The Haman thought in his own mind, what does the king want to do for me? V'hai ki komafish tuva. Here he wants to do more good. So definitely he's talking about me. Who else is he talking about? Now, you can tell you a story, interesting story. That shows how pompous he was. There's a story with the Chazon Ish and Rav Dessler. Dessler was a very humble person. Chazon Ish was the Gadol Hador. Rav Dessler wasn't the Chazon Ish. He wasn't that at all. So Rav Dessler, when he came to Bnei Brak in the 40s, the late 40s, he was the Mashgiach in Panovich. So he came to see the Chazon Ish. So he comes to the Chazon Ish's house. The Chazon Ish stands up for him, which is tremendous acknowledgement. So when the Chazon Ish stands for Rav Dessler turns around to see who he's standing for. He thought he's somebody behind him. The Chazon Ish should stand for him. This is the antithesis of Haman. Who does the king want on? Who else is he talking about? Of course, it's me. Who deserves honor more than me? You know, day and night is putting it mildly. Lahavdil elef avdolos. The Reb Kiva Dilma Reb Lozer. Reb Kiva Reb Lozer Dom and Lamish Kol Echad VeEchad Nidmesul Kumoso. There was a nest. One of the things of Esther, every person thought that she was from his nationality. That's the why. I got my person in the White House. You know, my person. It's my person. Right? It says that Mordechai spoke 70 languages, and because they were Carthaginians, they spoke a language, and therefore that's how we knew that he was going to be assassinated, because he overheard the conversation. Right? He said, Esther, it says they did not take of the spoils, because they sent out an order that nobody's permitted to take the spoils. That's how they knew. It was like it was punished by death, so of course. Shmuel, there's no way to refute his proof. Why? Because how do we know what's going on in Shemayim? You only know what's going on in Shemayim if Hashem informs you. Omar Rava, here says Omar Rava, Hainu Damni Yichi. So what happened here, what Shmuel says, Rava says, there's something said in the vernacular what people say, one sharp pepper is better than a whole basket full of gourds. I mean, what Shmuel said is better than all these other proofs, because all the other proofs can be refuted. Shmuel's proof is irrefutable. So, same Gemara in Yuma, if you remember. Gemara speaks over there. What is the basis that Pikuach Nefesh is Docha Shabbos? So, one after another, about 7 different sources. And then afterwards, finally, Shmuel says, it says, V'chai Bohem. You should live and not die. So Rava shows that every one of the proofs is not a proof, and this is Shmuel, he says. And therefore, he says, a sharp pepper is better than a basket full of gourds. Say exact same thing. Kori Rav Yosef Rav Yosef Mahocho Purim Ho'ela Lo Yavim Toch Yehudim. It says in the Megillah that the days of Purim will be kept always for all eternity. I mean, how could you tell me that with such definiteness? You're going to be in the future. How do you know this is going to be kept? That Purim's going to be kept forever? You know what's going to be in 6 years from now, 1,000 years from now? So how do you even write such a thing? The answer is that's Ruach HaKodesh. Rav Nabal Yitzchak Mihocho V'zichrom Lo Yosef Mizarom. Right? The miracle will never be forgotten from their children. Purim will always be remembered. Mattos Lavyonim. Now, interesting. There's a chiyuv. The Mishnah says that on Purim, besides Kriyas Megillah, you have Mattos Lavyonim. We give alms to the poor. How many poor? Matonos le'evyonim. Evyonim is plural. That means you have to give money to 2 poor people. Okay? Tani Rav Yosef u'mishloach monos ish l're'ehu. So what monos is plural. 2 portions, each man to his fellow. Fellow is singular, right? Shtei monos l'shechod u'matonos le'evyonim. Matonos, right? Shtei matonos l'shnei b'nei odom. You have 2 people, 2 portions to 2 poor people. So what do? Right? So Rashi says, Nami tati mashma. Dai l'kol achas v'achas. Really, you don't have to give 2. You mean you give 1 to 2, which is 1 to each one. See, what is that? You have to give them enough money that, or enough food that it's enough for Sudas Purim, because the poor man can't afford his own Sudas Purim. Rav Yehuda Nesiya Odalei Rav Oshia. Here, Rav Yehuda Nesi sent to Rav Oshia, who's one of the leading Torah sages. Rav Yehuda Nesi is not Rav Yehuda Nasi. Atma de Iglo Tlosa. It was the third calf of its mother, which is the choicest, the best quality calf. The Gavra de Chamran, a barrel of wine. Nice Shalach Manos. Right? A side of a whole animal, plus a barrel of wine, a small barrel of wine. Shalach lei. So Rav Oshia received it. He sent back to him. He said, Shalach lei. Kaimis bi Rabbeinu umeshmonu chislureu. Umetaz lavyonim. Rav Oshia was a poor man. He says, well, if you sent me here, you covered both. Mattos lavyonim and mishloach manos eshreu. Okay? Because it was two species. It was wine and meat. And plus the value itself. Yeah. Shoda le lemori bar mar. Biar Abaye. Rabba was the Rebbe Abaye. Rabba sent to Mori bar Mar in the hand of Abaye moli taska de kasba. You hear this? He sent him a basket full of dates. Umoli kasa kimcha davashuna. And he sent him a cup with dried kernels. Yeah, this is the shalchmanos. You know, this is like beggars' food. You know, a basket of dates and a cup of dried kernels. Omale Abaye. So Abaye says to his Rebbe, Rabbo, Hashtoma Mori. He says, if Mori receives this as shalchmanos from you, you know what he's going to say? Ichak lo. Malko lehevi dikula bitzavri lo nochis. Rabbi is a Rosh Hashiva. He says, Ichak lo. He says, where is it? Arshiv yo Mori alecha Ichak lo malko. Hasal shoy rogol holach bodenam ben far. Before Rabbi became a Rosh Hashiva, what was he? He was an ordinary person. I mean, not as a you know, you were like a villager. You're still behaving like a villager. You never took the basket off your shoulder as a villager. Villagers eat dates, eat dried kernels. Now that you're living in the big city, you're ready like a prince. This is what you sent. You haven't gotten off. You haven't removed yourself from your past. That's what he says. Chaklo is like a agricultural person. Malko lehevi. The farmer became a king. The kulam mitzav lo nochas, but yet he hasn't taken the palm tree off his neck. How does he interpret it? Oh, Rashi doesn't say that. Rashi doesn't say to feed his animals. He says to feed his animals, he hasn't taken it off from his head. Kachaton Nazis Melech Rosh Papdisi, the head of the it's inappropriate, a man of your stature, to send something of such ordinary value. Okay, so what did he do? So he retracted, he took it back. Mole Taska de Zangvilo, he sent him a vessel filled with ginger, which was an important spice, and a cup filled with long peppers. Okay? Omar Abaye, Hashtra Mamar. He says, now, Omar Mar, Ano Shadri Leichulya, View Shadli Churfa. He says, but still it's not good. He says, I sent him, excuse me, no, it's the other way. He sent him this, so he sent it back. He says, I sent him something sweet. He sent me something which is sharp. Sharp. When he would leave the house of his Rebbe, have a savannah. Hear this? He would be sated. He'd be full. He ate his meal. Yosef Beis, Adoni Rabba, Leil Beis, Abba Mori. Right? So when he went, he was delivering the Shalach Manos to Abba Mori, right? So he says, when I leave my Rebbe's house, he'd be full. And when he came, Havi Savannah, Kimatoi Losam, Krivili Shishin Soy, you hear this? They would serve him 60 dishes. 60 dishes. The Shishin mini Kadera. And each dish had 60 different types of foods. Cooked items. Va'achli Buhu, Shishin, Plugi. Yeah? I ate the 60 dishes. How does he interpret Plugi? Plugi.
I ate 60 pieces of each
each of them. Ubishula basraiso. Yeah, and the last cooked item, havi correlate soli keder, was called soli keder. Sli keder was like pan broiled. Uboil mechas sola basra, and I had such an appetite, I could even eat the plate. Omar Abaye, this is what Abaye said. Omar Abaye says, what does that prove? That a person who's hungry, he doesn't know how hungry he really is. Inami Rav he says, also, for something sweet, there's always room. It was a sweet dish. Abai Barovin, Rav Chanina Barovin, Michal Shudsaladod, they're both very poor. Abai Barovin, Rav Chanina, they were brothers. They would actually, each one had a Suda, and they would exchange the Sudas. So as a result of this, they would fulfill the mitzvah of what? Of Mattos Daf Yomi, and also, right, Mishlach Manos. Omar Rovo, this is a very famous Gemara. Mechayev inish levsumli bepurio, a person has an obligation to become intoxicated on Purim, adlo yoda bein orah haman lebaruch Mordechai, to the point that he can't discern between cursed is Haman and Baruch Mordechai. At Shomea, Rashi says when it says they exchanged meals, it wasn't the same year. One year he would invite him to his, and the next year he would invite him into Sudas Purim. They switch off years. Rashi says, Lishtaka b'yayin, everybody learns this way, to become drunk. Okay? Rabba and Reb Zera, very famous Gemara. Ovdu Sudas Purim Badi Adodi. They Purim Suda together. Rabba and Reb Zera. They were colleagues. Ivsum, yeah. Kom Rabba Shachta Reb Zera. So Reb Zera became drunk, and when he became drunk, he rose and he killed Reb Zera. Killed him. Shachte. L'mocha b'yirachmi v'achiyeh. You know this? Next day, he realized what he did. He was mispalel, right? He brought him back to life. There's no question. What, did he die? Or he was kneeling on the brink of death? What he did, but he was in serious condition. Because when he was drunk, he heard him. Okay? Lashonas next year. They want to celebrate again. Rabbi says to Reb Zera, maybe we should celebrate again together. So let's again celebrate Purim together, like last year. Last year I merited a miracle that I'm alive. If it happens again, I'm not sure if I can merit the miracle. It's interesting. He didn't say because, something. He didn't say, you would think after a year passes, Reb Zera, Rabbi realized he did the wrong thing in a state of drunkenness. If he could do that again, so maybe he won't drink this coming year. Right? So he believed that even if he does it, but if he definitely could guarantee him he'll recover, not a problem. But he says, no, but you can't give me that guarantee. Last year we merited a miracle. This year I don't know. You would think, why did he kill him? Who kills in a state of drunkenness? Evidently, there's something there. You think maybe Rabbi in a year would correct whatever caused him to kill him. He would have corrected it. Just bringing this point out. Omar Rava Sudas Purim Shochel Balai Liyotzei Chovoso. You hear this? What happens? And this is a big mistake in New York. People, they have in shuls at the breakfast after Tainus Esther, they have a catered meal in the shul, and people think they that's Sudas Purim. It's not. The meal you eat at night, you're not Yotzei whatsoever. There's a mitzvah to celebrate at night, but that's not Sudas Purim. Okay? So therefore, Rava says Sudas Purim Shochel Balai Liyotzei Chovoso. You're not Yotzei whatsoever. My time of why? Because it says in the Megillah, Yemei Mishta v'Simcha. It's the days. It has to be celebrated during the Mishta is during the daytime. Ksiv. Ravashi have Yosef Kamei the Rav Kahana, Noga v'Losa Rabbanon. And Ravashi was for Rav Kahana to study Torah, and it was getting late in the day, and the Chacham weren't there. Here, Rav Kahana is ready to say the Shir. Here, he's ready to say the Shir, and where are the Talmidim? Omali, my Talmud Losa Rabbanon. Here. Why did the Chachamim come for the Shir? Right? Omar Lei. She said to him, Dilma Tridi B'Sudas Purim. They're still celebrating. It's like before Shkia. You eat Sudas. Omar Lei V'Lavei Efshel Michle B'Urta. So Rav Kahana says to Rav Ashi, why didn't they eat it the previous night? The Shir is during the daytime. They should eat it the previous night. There wouldn't have been a conflict. Omar Lei. So Rav Ashi says to Rav Kana, Lo Shemiya Le Lamar, he said, what do you ask me? They should have. You're not aware Rava ruled that Sudas Purim can only be eaten during the daytime, not at nighttime. So that's why they're not here. Omalei. So Rav Kana says to Rav Ashi, yeah, Rava Mahochi. He says, did Rava really say that? Rav Kana says to Rav Ashi, Omalayin. He says, yes. Tani mine arboin zimnin. Yeah, he learned it from. He says he taught it to him 40 times. Review it. And after he reviewed it, learned it 40 times, it was like he had it in his pocket. That's he felt it was secure. He had it secure. You know what we're talking about. Rav Ashi even was no ordinary person. Rav Kana was greater than Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi before Rav Kana to learn, and Rav Kana is the Rebbe. Rav Kana is the Rebbe. He says, where to tell me? He says, aren't you aware that you can't eat the food at night? The Rebbe, Rav Kana, had to review it 40 times. A man of his dimension has to review it 40 times. I mean, he was greater than Rav Ashi. So you see? And why 40? Because Kabbalah Torah it was a 40-day process. So you see, there's a special siyata d'shmaya to do things that they did like it was done when the Torah was given at Sinai. Okay. So Tosas over here brings Yerushalmi. It says you have to become so drunk that you can't differentiate between Orah Haman and Baruch Mordechai. Okay? So he brings Yerushalmi, Arura Zeresh, Brucha Esther. He says, but we also say, we sing this in Shoshanas Yaakov. You also say, Arura Zeresh. Cursed is Zeresh, that was Haman's wife. Brucha Esther, Arurim, Kol Rishoyim, all the evil should be cursed. Obama, Kerry, Abbas, all these chevra. Biden, Bruchim Kol HaYudim. That's what Yerushalmi says. That's what you're supposed to say. Besides Orah Haman, Baruch Mordechai, you say Arura Zeresh, Brucha Esther, Arurim Kol HaRishoyim, Bruchim Kol HaYudim. All the Jews should be blessed. Okay? Gavaldik. Next Mishnah. Ein bein Yom Tiv l'Shabbos and Ochel Nefesh. What's the difference between Shabbos and Yom Tiv? When the Ochel Nefesh, food-related activities, Yom Tiv is permitted, Shabbos is not. Holy Machshir Ochel Nefesh, as it seems to be. But in regard to Machshir, what about what facilitates the Ochel Nefesh? You want to sharpen a knife, right? That's not the Ochel Nefesh. That's preparing to facilitate. Zev Zeh Shavin, that's the emphasis in the Mishnah, right? Holy Machshir Ochel Nefesh, Zev Zeh Shavin, it's evidently Basilok Reb Yehuda. So if that's the case, this anonymous Mishnah is not following Reb Yehuda, because Reb Yehuda Detanya, Ein Ben Yom Tov Shabbos Ochel Nefesh Bevod. Reb Yehuda Matir Af Machshir Ochel Nefesh. Reb Yehuda permits even Machshirei, even what facilitates. My Tana Bekam Kama. What does Tana Kama say? It's only Ochel Nefesh, and not Machshir Ochel Nefesh, not what facilitates it. Omar Kro, it says who? It says who levado yesalachem. It should be done. So what is the inference? It means to exclude something else. Ihu v'lo machshirim, right? V'lo machshirov. Only the Ochel Nefesh itself is permitted, cooking, baking, being directly involved with the food, but to do something else to facilitate it, like sharpening in the knife, that's not. So how does Rabbi Yehuda learn that even machshirim? Rabbi Yehuda Omar lochem l'chol tzarchechem, that you can do whatever your needs are. That means if you have to sharpen the knife, you sharpen the knife. V'idoch. So how do the Chachamim respond? V'idoch ma hoksiv lochem lo v'kolchovim. That when the Torah permits Ochel Nefesh, it's only for a Jew, not for a goy. A Jew cannot do Ochel Nefesh for a goy. A non-Jew says, could you make me a cup of coffee? Not permitted on Yom Tov. For a Jew you can, for a goy not. Lochem lo l'klovim. What about you have a, dog eats better than you do, right? You have such masters. They treat the dog better than their wife and kids and themselves. You want to prepare a meal for your dog, okay? No, you're not permitted. Lochem v'lo l'klovim, not for the dog. V'doch nami hoksifu. So how did the Chachamim answer? What does he do with who? Who is an exclusion? Who ksiv? Who? If it's something which could have been done before Yom Tiv, let's say a person didn't have a knife, or was dull already before Yom Tiv, the knife, and now you want to sharpen the knife, Torah doesn't permit it. Because that could have been done before. It was your oversight. But let's say you used the knife, and as a result of the usage of the knife, it became dull. So you couldn't have prepared that before Yom Tiv. Or let's say the Gemara says you have a spit that you broil meat on, and the usage, it gets bent out of shape. So you want to straighten it out to be able to. So we're talking about Makah Bepatish, right? According to Rabbi Yehuda, because that you couldn't. Because as a result of its usage, it became bent out of shape. So the shpud is the spit. You want to straighten it out, you can straighten it out. It's not a problem. You can't, according to Rabbi Yehuda. We rule like the Chacham. You're not permitted. There's only difference between Shabbos and Yom Kippur. All whatever you're not permitted to do on Shabbos, malacha-wise, you're not permitted to do on Yom Kippur. Correct? However, the liability is different liability. The liability of Shabbos is more severe. Shabbos is the death penalty. Yom Kippur is koris, spiritual excision. Halini tashlumim, zevazeh shabin. But regarding, let's see, what's the halacha if a person goes and the classical case, person tunnels into a house to rob a house. The owner of the house is permitted to kill the intruder. Why? Because the man is coming to kill or be killed if he has to. So he's a rodef. Let's say as he's coming through a tunnel, there are vessels, and he breaks the vessels. So the halacha is he's exempt. He doesn't have to pay for the damage because there's a principle, kim leim midrabinei. If a person does something which he deserves the death penalty, and simultaneously he causes monetary damage, there's no financial liability. It's called kim. We give him the greater of the judgment, not the lesser of the judgment. So it seems to be, it says, what is the difference? Whether it's the death penalty, koris, but it seems to be. But in regard, let's say simultaneously he causes financial damage, monetary damage, we don't make the differentiation. So we're saying that just as you say kim leim midrabinei for Mrs. Bezdin, you're going to say kim leim midrabinei even for koris. Same thing. Let's say a person in Yom Kippur. A person in Yom Kippur goes and picks a fruit off a tree. So when you pick the fruit off the tree, it's koris. Right? And simultaneously you stole. Do we say kim leim midrabinei? Well, let's say he cut it off in a way where he damaged the tree. So here he's a damager, and he's a what? And he's violating Yom Kippur simultaneously. From the Mishnah, it seems to be there's no monetary liability. So you see, so who do we tribute? It's a machlok. We don't rule this way. That's Rabbi Chuni ben Akona. Rabbi Chuni ben Akona says just as you say kim leim midrabinei when we're dealing with the death penalty, you say it also with koris. So since it seems to the Mishnah, hamani masnisin. Rabbi Chuni ben Akona, the time Rabbi Chuni ben Akona omer, hayu oseh es Yom Kippur k'Shabbos l'tashlumim. He treated Yom Kippur as Shabbos when it came to monetary payment. Ma Shabbos mischayev b'nafsho potu minat tashlumim. Just as Shabbos, if simultaneously you forfeit your life, you're exempt from payment, right? Av Yom Kippur mischayev b'nafsho potu minat tashlumim. Tanan Hossam, we learned in the Mishnah, Kol chayvi krisu shaloko nifrum krisosan. What happens if a person goes, he's forewarned, not to eat on Yom Kippur, he eats. So what is he liable for? Koris. And now they give him lashes, because he was forewarned. When he gets the lashes, he's no longer deserving of koris. That is the atonement for the koris. The malchus that he gets, that absolves him from the koris. Okay? Kol chayvi krisu shaloku. Every case with his liability of krisus, if they get malchus, nifru midei krisosan. They're absolved from the koris. Shenemar, v'nikle ochicho leinecho. It says, this is after he receives the malchus. It says, your brother will be embarrassed, disgraced before your eyes. If he's a Rosh, he's not called ochicho. He's not your brother. So why is he called your brother? The answer is, since he's disgraced through receiving the malchus, he's reinstated as your brother. You got it? Niklo ochicho leinecho, kevet shaloko. Once he's disgraced, he's reinstated as ochicho. So you see from here that receiving malchus absolves you from the koris. When he's chayv koris, he's cut off. But here, Nicola, when he receives the malchus, because he's disgraced through the malchus, okay, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Chalukin Olav Chaveirav Rav Chanan ben Gamliel. He says, but the colleagues of Rav Chanan ben Gamliel argue with him. They argue, they disagree. Omar Rava Omar Amri Bei Rav. Tanina ein bein Yom Kippur l'Shabbos el zez doni b'dei odom zez doni b'koris v'misa. If you're telling me that the Mishnah, that they're arguing misa even b'dei odom, if you tell me even Yom Kippur you're liable for malchus, so even Yom Kippur is b'dei odom, right? Omer Rav Nachman Homani Rabbi Yitzchok b'Kore Rabbi Yitzchok he. Malchus b'chayv krisis, like he argues. Rabbi Yitzchak holds that, what's the halacha? The Torah says on Shabbos, Lo Sascho Malocha, right? A lav. Lo Sascho Malocha. And he's forewarned, don't cook on Shabbos because you'll be put to death. What happens if he cooks? He's put to death. What happens if the person who forewarned him, the man didn't know, he says, if you cook on Shabbos, you're going to get Malkos. And he cooks. He's not liable for Malkos. Why? Because the losas, the lav of Shabbos, is not to forewarn you not to get Malkos. It's to forewarn you that you shouldn't die. So the lav was spoken specifically within the context of death penalty, not Malkos. So even though you were forewarned Malkos, because the lav wasn't said to that purpose. So the lav of Koris, the Torah warns you, don't do that action because you'll be liable for spiritual excision, Koris. And now they warn him, and he says, you can get Malkos. That's not its purpose. The value of the forewarning is not because otherwise you can get Malkos. Torah doesn't want you to be liable for Koris. So therefore this lav has no relevance to Malkos. Eating non-kosher and nevela, okay. Torah says you're not prohibited. So what's the lav of nevela? It's just the lav. There's no liability of Koris. It's not to eat nevela. Eating nevela has the liability, has Malkos. But something which is more advanced like Koris, so the purpose of the forewarning is not to have the greater liability. The Tanya, Rabbi Yitzchak Omer, Chayve Krisus, B'chlal Hoyu. Chayve Krisus originally was within the klal. V'lom yotzes Koris Bachoso. It originally says whoever violates any sexual, incestuous relationship is liable for Koris. And then the Torah goes out of its way and says, and for a sister, you're liable for Koris. Well, the sister is an incestuous relation. Why does Torah have to single out the sister? So why? Lama yotzes Koris Bachoso. Because if you'd only have the first statement, don't do anything which carries liability of Koris, I think you get Malkus. That the Torah went to single out the sisters to tell me the other way. That to tell me you would think maybe Malkus. No, it's only Koris. You don't know because of Loba Malkus. Ravashi te Omar no, afitem Rabbanon. Zeikas don't know Koris. No. I'll tell you factually, there's no proof from the Mishnah. The Mishnah holds that even for Yom Kippur you get Malkus. But what he's telling me is, in terms of liability, in terms of Shabbos, could you talk there too? We talk death penalty and Malkus. They may both be implemented by the court, but the levels of punishment, are they comparable? One is dying, one is put to death, one is getting lashes. So meaning, in terms of what is the primary punishment for Shabbos? Death. What is the primary punishment for Yom Kippur? Koris. So, but they are them, but it's not primary. That's a way to be absolved. You're absolved through that. If you get Malchus, you don't get Koris. But what is the primary punishment? Violate Shabbos, it's the death penalty. Violate Yom Kippur is Koris. To be continued.